I was a part of this group in middle school called the Scholars Group, and shout out to Mr. Seegers for, you know, bringing that together. And when I was in middle school, I was growing up with this Chicago drill. If anybody know about that, then they know like the influence that had against like the whole hip hop community, and everybody wanted to be like Chief Keef and all this other stuff. And we wanted to gang bang, we wanted to do all that stuff, get the money, the cars, the girls. But he came in and actually formed this group to show us like it's a different way of living. You can actually be a successful plumber, successful electrician, you could be a businessman, you could be whatever you want. And that mindset just stuck with me. And it's really stuck with me when my mom's situation, I just felt vulnerable. Um, I'm in the process of losing my mom. My dad's still not home. Like, man, I had to grow up faster, and I started to see the world for what it is. My name is Demarion Evans. I'm a 19-year-old entrepreneur. I'm a credit educator. I'm also the CEO and founder of Two Ambitious Enterprises. Um, I always played basketball, and I just remember these interviews seeing about Magic Johnson talking about how he was friends with the owner of the Lakers at that time, and how the Lakers owner was giving him advice like, man, like you're not gonna be, and this is rookie year, you're not gonna be playing basketball all your life. That ball is gonna stop dribbling sooner or later. So you might as well take care of your affairs now, and then down the line, you can enjoy the rest of your life. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have the knowledge, it's not gonna work. You always gonna be broke. But wealth, and that's another thing that I want to touch on, because it's a difference between wealth and being rich. Rich is measured in currency, like, you know what I mean. So, but if you have wealth, it's the knowledge that comes with it, the health aspect that comes with it. Because I can go broke. If I'm wealthy, I can go broke many times, but I always know how to get it back because I have this. Nobody can take this from me. This is my intellectual property. Nobody can take that from me. So basically, I grew up a statistic, what they call a statistic, and my mom had already had 3 kids before I was even born. So I was the fourth child. Um, Here was a little rough. It wasn't always bad because we had church family and stuff like that, and they looked out for us. But it wasn't always good either because my mom, she grew up rough as well, and she didn't have the financial sense to really like take care of us like how she wanted to, because she always had to work, and those things play a factor in kids' mental as well. Like, for example, a lot of people say I used to act out when I was younger, but it's because of the lack of attention. My mom needed to take care of us, so what did she always have to do? She always had to work. So I'm not getting any attention at home. Every time I go out in public, I'm acting out because what am I trying to do? Get attention. But if she knew about financial literacy as a young woman, having kids would be, she would be in our lives. She would have been in our lives more. I mean, eventually she got it, but like it would be better if somebody would get it at a younger age. When I was born, like before I was even born, my dad was in jail a few months. I think like I was born in August. I think they caught him in March. Had this big old case. They called his thing like Operation King of the Hill. It's just a whole big mess. My dad being locked up had a crazy effect on me. Being raised by a woman, you start to have like women tendencies. I was more emotional. I always needed reassurance. I started to notice, like as I'm getting older, women are very insecure, and me seeing, like being around a lot of women, I started to notice that as well, and that's where the reassurance. They need clarity, they need clarification for everything. Did this look good on me and stuff like that? I started to have that like growing up because I'm seeing a bunch of women doing it. I never seen a man who walked in a room confident in himself. He don't need no clarification. He know who he is, stuff like that. I never had seen that until I got older, But all those things play a part into it. Not having a lot of attention, Um, it made me feel like I was the only child and stuff like that, but it's a lot of stuff that plays into it.
But you didn't let that stop you, right?
Oh no, I couldn't, because I always knew, and I was always taught. I had some older heads tell me, they wasn't my actual dad, so they couldn't really take me in like that, but I had a few people tell me, like, man, like, you could be whatever you want to be. You can actually, you don't gotta let this affect you. Like I told you, the teacher, Mr. Segas, who formed this group called Scholars, like, he was a great example for me. Like, I still talk to him to this day, and he always just told us, like, man, know who you are, be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't let everybody, don't be easily influenced. Oh, my mom was strict at that. Like, you know, she wanted to protect us from the outside world. But so when we would always be in the house and stuff like that, she used to let us come to the library. Like, that was the only place we could really go. So that's what I was getting exposed to. And like, when we would be sitting in the house, we would have all these books. We like, man, we ain't got nothing else to do, so we just gonna read. And my mom was actually a school teacher before. Like a preschool teacher, so she always had us reading and writing and stuff like that. So she always kept that. She always exposed that to us. But I have fell off from reading, because it's like, man, I'm finna go outside, do what I do. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to gang bang and stuff like that. And I'm just being honest, because that's what I'm exposed to at an early age. But I started to pick it back up because I started to realize, like, a thinking black man is powerful. Just somebody who's actually has knowledge and applies it, powerful. Because if you can close your eyes, picture a perfect world for you, and go make it happen, that's powerful. Once I started to read, it just took me into a whole nother world. It's like time traveling. It's just like, man, I'm getting lost up in this book, laughing, you know, like having like real emotions. You know, like, you ever like see a movie, you just so emotionally attached to it. You like, you know, like even in scary movies and stuff like that. But that's how it was for me reading. But I started to pick reading back up like when I was a junior in high school. I started to read like business books, self-development books, just things about how I could better myself. Because I started to notice like my childhood trauma was affecting me as I was getting older. Like, for instance, me having older siblings. So my siblings would do little small stuff, tick my mama off, or something come up missing. My mom like, man, what happened to it? Don't nobody know nothing? All y'all finna get a whooping. And I was like, that made me like real defensive, because my siblings would be like, nah, Mari did it. I'm the baby, so they like, man, we gonna put it on him. So it made me real defensive. So as I was getting older, I was real emotional, always angry. I had anger issues, man. You say the wrong thing, man, I'm the little kid that's cussing you out. But it was getting to the point where if you said something to me, like accusing me of something, I'm going off on you. But that's because of my past, like, that's trauma from my siblings putting something on me. I'm getting in trouble for it. I'm getting a whipping for it. Like, I don't want that to happen to me no more. So, but as I got older, I knew the problem, and I wanted to find a solution. I think that's what a lot of people need to do, like, just to better their situation, whether it's financially, emotionally, physically. If you know the problem, come up with a solution for it. People are too worried about the problem, but nobody's focusing on the solution. So I just started to find a solution. That was to read books, have these like therapy, basically like self-therapy sessions with myself, just to know myself better, you know, just improving myself, doing like character building things, actually going out, talking to people. Like I told you, like when I would go out, like when I was going out when I was younger, I was always acting out and stuff like that. I didn't really know how to actually talk to people, so just narrow-minded, just one-sided, not really open-minded to other people's feelings and how they feel, very selfish. But those are the things that I knew, those are the flaws about myself. But so instead of falling victim to it, like, man, I just need to come up with a solution to it and actually know, not even just reading in a book or, you know, trying to write my feelings down and stuff like that, actually knowing what they said in the book, actually practicing those exercises, actually getting out there and basically getting in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because you can practice all day, but if you don't really know how to play, it just don't matter. Like I said before, I'm always gonna revert back to this group because just remembering all the things that we did, like actually he took us camping. What else did he do? We went on. I was going on college tours before my siblings, like, and they were still in school. I'm in 6th grade. I'm going on college tours and stuff like that. Just seeing a whole different life and getting exposed to different things. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just exposure. Because you can be in the worst environment ever, but once you get exposed to something, that's all you go. That's all you know. Because if you just exposed to the streets, that's all you know. As soon as you walk outside, you just seeing people getting shot, all this other stuff. It's just exposure. That's all people need, and that's why I'm so passionate about what I do because I had the opportunity to just get exposed to different things at an early age than most kids my age. But that's all it is, just getting exposure, actually going into these communities and showing them different things, talking to them. It's not too many people that's doing that. You know what I mean? Getting down to the nitty gritty because I was that kid, like, you know, fighting all the time, getting into it with people, seeing people, seeing stuff like that. Like, you can't. It's crazy. Like waking up, going to your mom's room. It's a thick pile of blood and it's black. She behind the door naked. That's traumatizing. But me getting exposed to different things and seeing that I don't, and remembering somebody telling me like I don't have to fall victim to this. I can actually be something in life. That's what made me like, okay, I just need to get my stuff in order. I need to start thinking for myself. I need to be very independent because everybody that was around me, that was in my ear, always talked about being independent. Always. Even my mom, like, you have to get your stuff in order. You have to be responsible. Nobody's gonna come out here and save you because the world ain't pretty, all sunshines and rainbows. But life is what you make it though. But you can make it like that. But it ain't like that. But you can make it like that. So that's what I would say to somebody who's thinking about, oh, like, I'm living in this, I'm going through this, but it's because they're not exposed to it. It's like they living in a box. Literally, it's like they living in a box. It's all sunshines and rainbows, but in that little box that they're stuck in, it's just rain, thunder, and all of that stuff. They don't see the sun, they don't see the trees, they don't see the nice flowers outside. All they see is rain, dark clouds all over them. So my room was directly across from the bathroom. So I just woke up, just got ready for work. And I'm like, man, why do I smell bleach? I'm like, did somebody just clean the bathroom or something? So I'm like, I wasn't tripping. So I was calling her like while I was in the shower, like, Mom, it's funny because we in the same house. Why would I be calling her? But I was just calling her when I was in the shower and stuff, like, Mom, like, are you still taking me to work? There wasn't no answer. So I'm like, man, let me go in her room. So I went on her side of the house because we had like a 1-level house. So it was like our side, and then it was her side where like the kitchen and then the back door and stuff was at. So I seen like these footprints of blood like going straight to the back door. It was a footprint of a big Air Force One. I just seen like a thick pile of blood under the door. So I'm knocking. I'm like, hold on. So I just actually go in there. She's behind the door, naked, like stomach all out. Like, I never seen the inside of her stomach before, but her stomach was out. She had the fattest lip I ever seen in my life. She just didn't look like herself. It was residue everywhere, blood everywhere, bleach everywhere, glass everywhere. Her whole room was just tore up. And I'm like, wow, like, trying to like get her, wake her up, basically, like, man, like, hoping she ain't dead, because I'm really thinking like, dang, like, my mama's sitting here dead. And she like woke up. She was like traumatized. Like, you could tell she was traumatized. She didn't even want me to touch her. She didn't know who I was and stuff like that. But I had to go get my older brother. And I'm like, man, like come here, like. So he come in and stuff. He's like, bro, what happened? I'm like, bro, I don't know. But she recognized him. She recognized who he was and stuff like that. We couldn't do nothing. Like my brother sitting there breaking down crying. I'm just like, man, we got to get her some help. So it was just crazy.
So where was she shot?
In her head, like right here, and in her stomach. She survived. So like after we had got her some help, a few weeks go by, she's recovering. Obviously she makes it. So now I start to getting back in contact with my dad. He was just giving me a lot of good advice, stuff like that, on what to do, what not to do, how to, think for yourself. Don't fall victim to the streets, don't get easily influenced. Basically the same stuff a lot of people were telling me before, but it hit different because this is my actual father who's telling me this stuff, so it made like it affected me a lot, in a good way, so.
And how was he telling you this? Was he in person?
No, it was through letters, calling, like when he actually could call, regularly call, but, like we used to write all the time, like, and I used to get excited coming home and I seen a letter from my dad. 'Cause that's all I was expecting. That was like giving me hope. Like, man, like if he could stay positive being in there like all my life, I can stay positive too. And I still got the letters to this day of him telling me like, man, keep up with yourself. Read, you know what I'm saying? Like, read this book. This book is about this. I'm gonna teach you something that rich people teach their children and stuff like that. And that always got me excited because, like, when I was in middle school, I used to walk around like, man, I'm finna be rich. And, when you're in a poverty-stricken area and you're around other kids that's not getting exposed to this or people telling them this, they're like, no, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like, bringing you down because they're not getting exposed to stuff like that. But it was just so many things that led me up to this point. It's just like small factors, and that's why I feel like it's important to always keep positive thoughts and say positive things to children because that affects them down the line. Because it affected me, even though it was people saying negative stuff about me or negative things to me, those positive things that people said to me always stuck with me. And sometimes I don't even remember half the negative stuff that was said about me when I was younger, so.